You're such an asshole.
We got a request from a security guard. I like my brothers and sisters in the security guard field because I was one for a long time. I kind of miss it still to this day. It, it, especially depending on the detail you get. I should just go pick it up. So I get one shift a week. What the hell? Our security guard agent in the field writes, "Hey, Aaron, hope all is well. Longtime viewer of yours, bought some of your books and used this service before. My views line up with yours in almost every way, which brings me to the question I have for you because the two options for an answer are both things you often advocate for. The question is, should I take online classes to get a degree that my company pays for, some of which I can do on company time, or should I just not bother with it and continue on my current path? In order to properly answer this, I need to tell you about my current situation because on the surface it seems like an obvious yes, but I'm leaning towards not, and here's why. 35-year-old male, just paid off all my debt, including a house. Look at this guy. Where have all the good men gone? I'll tell you right now, you are the most highly compensated security guard I've ever heard of. I know, especially if you get into armed or VIP protection, where you're getting like former special ops, the shit that Jason Bourne has to mow down. Yeah, I understand, but you're bucking into that. And am a minimalist who will have expenses in the 20 to 25,000 a year range going forward. Car's pretty new and have done upgrades on home recently, so no major expenses upcoming. No kids and don't want anything. You don't have to work, dude. You're set. You just set. Let's interrupt the story now. You are like many young men I'm running into. You practice the minimalism. Surprise, money adds up when you don't spend it. And then you're like, well, I got all this money and should I continue on my career and I need to make more? No, you don't have to. You are set. If you just keep doing what you're doing, because this guy makes over 6 figures and you don't have a house, you're not going to have kids. Get that in your mind. You don't have to execute on it. You don't have to stop working. Okay. But know that your finances are squared away. You don't have to make more money, right? It is not, you're not the average millennial and Zoomer liberal arts graduate where you are obliged to go back to school and get a real degree or some real training. You are not obliged to go to school at all. All right? You don't have to. No marriage or cohabitation and never would. Oh, geez, girls, where have all the good men? I bet you we tell them you're a security guard. They just. Meanwhile, you make over 6 figures. I work as an armed security guard, and your management. Let's just say, I make very good hourly wage. I work a lot of overtime and make over 100,000 a year. Just made over 125,000 this past year. Current net worth is approximately 450 to 475. Look, you don't need rich parents. You don't have to come from the Edina every day. I need attention. Will you look? If there's one thing I do for you younger people out there, I show you don't have to come from wealthy parents or need the fucking government to do this. Yes, it's long and it's boring and it's hard, but it's better than long, boring, and hard and no money at the end, which is what you fucking sad Democrat welfare collectors do. Look at this guy. It's what you spend, not how much you make. Really, helps that he was making 125,000 a year. 125,000 in 401k. I have a 1-year emergency fund in savings. Going forward, since I now have no debt, I'll be able to bank around 50,000 a year, not including 15% to go into a 401k between mine and employers. You got a 401k? This must be a sharp outfit you're working for if they're giving you a 401k and a match. It ain't Securitas you're working for, I'm guessing. I could pick on Securitas because that's the only security company that exists anymore. So basically, I'm doing very well and live a laid-back life with a chill job, no debt, low expenses, good income, and on the pace to retire early. So I'm almost just leaning towards saying, fuck taking classes. Why bother with the extra work and stress? I don't need it for the current job, and a job I would need it for would require more corporate bullshit, stress, and responsibilities. Yeah, if you're not going to go management, I don't see and to stay right there, man. You don't. Well, you know how it goes. You've been there for a while. I remember working first security gig I ever had. They want to promote me and a couple other guys, gals too. And I think all of us except one said no. We're like, hell no. No, it wasn't all that much. I think he got an extra buck an hour or something like that. And we're like, no, we're stupid. I gotta eat. I gotta sleep. I don't want to do paperwork. No, if you got it, look, the main reason you go into security isn't for the money, although you got that too. The main reason you go there is you're left the fuck alone and you can work on other shit and you don't have to deal with Karens and there's no corporate office. Well, I don't know if you work night shift or not. So yeah, I'm awfully reluctant to have you go into management. Why bother when I would need it. And a job I would need it for would require more corporate bullshit and stress and responsibilities. Yeah, and a higher chance you get fired. Why bother when I'm a minimalist? So I know you say if an employer will pay for a degree, you can do some or most of it on company time. It's a great deal, which I agree with. However, you also say fuck corporate bullshit and all that because it's one of the benefits of being a minimalist, which I also agree with. So what are your thoughts when either decisions are both things you advocate for? I'm not an urgent decision nor a completely life-altering one at the moment. If I was 25 with debt and wanted to get married or have kids, I'd probably do it. But now I'm just leaning towards saying, fuck it, why bother? Thoughts. And then I said, okay, well, what degree do you want to get? He says, was thinking of two potential options if I did decide to do one. One is criminal justice, just to potentially further my options as security type positions. No, that is a worthless fucking degree. No. Maybe a minor, like if you wanted to study it, to say like, look, I got some theoretical understanding. I have some academic research into things like crime and security and police, but I don't have a fucking degree in the bullshit. All right. It's not going to hurt you get a minor, take a couple courses in it. But a degree in criminal justice, no, it doesn't help anyone. Tell me you're the first kid in your family to go to school from a family of immigrants without telling me you're the first person in a family of immigrants to go to school. He chooses criminal justice. No, right? It's not, no. Other option would be accounting because that's the practical one to which I have known you're a fan of. I am. These could just be able to check the degree box for potential jobs if I ever have to switch. I prefer to just keep doing what I'm doing for 10 more years, retire early and go part-time. If I had to pay for it, I wouldn't even be thinking about it, but since it's free, I'm not sure. All right, look, here's all things considered. You're right. You don't need this degree. You are more than halfway there, unless you have spectacularly long longevity in your family. Like your grandparents are still alive at the age of 95 and you could expect to live to 100. All right, then you might have to work up a little bit more money. But assuming you're going to die like the rest of us, you are better than halfway to retirement. You got your house paid off. You're not going to have any added costs or expenses. You have a nice little nest egg saved up in your 401k there. You're going to drop down to part-time, so you're not going to never not work. So that's going to, and you're a minimalist. So the money it's not a financial one. It's really an intellectual one. That's what it is. It's like 95% intellectual and 5% break glass. And in case of emergency insurance policy, you might need some time in the future, but it's very unlikely. And that being the case, I would say, I absolutely do not do the criminal justice. If let's put it a different way, the accounting one is going to help you in all your regards because it's going to be more helpful if you're in management. You have a degree in accounting. If you need to, pretty it up with a minor in criminal justice, fine. But being an accountant, knowing financial statements, knowing how cash flows work in a company, how to read reports, that is going to help you more if you were ever to transition to the dark side to become part of management. The second thing, and we've talked about this many times before, me and Chad are going to be going live in about 4 hours. Accounting is a degree that would allow you, for whatever reason, you got fired from the industry, something bad happens, it ain't your fault, whatever. You can't work in security anymore. Your engine of retirement goes away. Now you need to recreate yourself. Accounting is a pretty good degree to have. The third thing, as again we've pointed out, accounting lends itself incredibly well to self and remote employment. So when you, I don't know what your individual details are when you work a security shift, but if you were like me and most of the details I worked, it was nighttime, sit at a desk. And so you might as well study accounting, because not only is your job kind of remote, like you could work on a laptop. Well, in my day, we didn't have laptops or wireless. God, I missed it by like 4 years. If I had just gone to school 4 years later, I would have just been able to do all my home. I mean, I wrote my paper. I couldn't do the research. Oh, God, everyone's so lucky nowadays. But the point is, accounting is remote, both in terms of being able to do the job, increasingly so, and you could study it remotely. So you got the time. I mean, you got to be bored somewhere. You're not just reading comic books all day. So why not pick up a remote skill that you can learn remotely? That allows you, if you wanted to not only be self-employed or employed outside security, but would look, favorably if they wanted you to be management. And then the final thing with the accounting degree, if you were to get a degree, I mean, they're paying for it. You got nothing better. Why not? And then down the road, when you're older, you kind of face a similar thing to like what tradesmen do. Like, the bodies don't last forever, and you can't last forever working night shift. Like, inevitably, you're going to get too old to do security or stay up that late. Oh, I've seen some old timers. Do you want to have a good, reliable skill just in case you need it, and something to switch to when you're older? You don't need to. And here's another thing. You could take your sweet ass time getting your degree in accounting. There's no rush. No rush for at all, because you're so gainfully employed. So yeah, it really is up to you. Me personally, I would do it. Not all the arguments laid out before us aside. You got anything better to do on a 12-hour shift? Don't you have 50 minutes between your patrols? Don't you have downtime? What you're proposing to me, assuming you're not doing bodyguard active security, but if you got some sit down shifts, what you're proposing to me is, should I read a book or bring a Nintendo Switch to play video games or something while working security? I'm like, yeah, you should. This just happens to be something that would improve your career and open up other opportunities. But yeah, you don't need it. As far as I'm concerned, given your previous financial discipline, you have every right to play Nintendo Switch 2 for the rest of your days. Remember one time, here's how old I am. I played Civilization 2 on a black and white laptop when those first came out. My buddy lent it to me when he was going back home for Christmas. That was fun, playing video games, working security. I could see the temptation of that. But yeah, you need a little bit of mental stimulation, and then they're going to pay for it. Sure. Yeah, take a class or two. It ain't going to hurt you. Oh, no, you might be weird like Chad and find it fascinating and amazing. But for everyone else who's a security guard, see, he's in a unique situation. Let's make this of benefit to your average rank and file security guards. You don't have to major in accounting. I'll tell you this, do not major in criminal justice. For the love of God, don't do that. But this is why I say security is security, because it gave me such a tremendous opportunity to sit the fuck down and study. You have to find a job that'll let you do that. But if you can, you save so much time. And the only thing I would add to that is, ultimately, it doesn't matter what you study. I know accounting kind of leans well for this guy. As long as you major in a good field, you will not waste your time sitting there reading the newspaper or playing video games, work as a security guard. Don't do what I did. I majored in something stupid. I majored in finance. Don't major in finance. Major in accounting, engineering, whatever else have you. Link below, I have a link to a book called Worthless, The Young Person's Indispensable Guide to Choosing the Right Major. You know what all security guards should be reading? Because it'll only take you 3-4 hours to read through it. It'll be half a shift. Go get Worthless, The Young Person's Indispensable Guide to Choosing the Right Major. And then when you realize, oh God, I got 8 hours a day to study, it's like a multiplier effect. I mean, I did this. If you are forced to sit down and, you got your patrols, you got to go through the wand or whatever, right? You can actually take more classes in the full load. Maybe not in engineering, because you got all the time in the world. You're forced to sit down and do nothing. So instead of taking 3 classes, you could take 4. Now, I'm not recommending that in your situation. It all depends on what your patrol obligations are. But man, there were times, I remember Bachelor Pad Economics was written in 3 months. That's a 500-page book written in 3 months. Why? It was 16-hour shifts, months in a row, with barely a day off. And they said, sit here in this room. I'm like, do you want me to patrol? No, sit here in this room. If you got to go to the bathroom or you need to get food, okay. We don't want you doing patrols. We want you to sit here in this room. That was a mentally tortured existence, but I got a book that more or less made it so I don't have to answer to a boss anymore. Provided me kind of a lifetime pension. But yeah, what's 16 hours? I could probably take 8 college courses if I have to sit in a room for 16 hours a day. And security guards, you have that opportunity in front of you there. Is if you got some downtime, especially now you can take courses online, accredited. You can go to Western Governors University, an accredited school online, and some courses or some degrees, like engineering, you're going to need labs, so you're going to have to physically go in. But there's like computer programming, accounting. There's a lot of majors that don't require your physical presence. So yeah, take a look at that book, Worthless, The Young Person's Indispensable Guide to Choosing the Right Major. Just do know right now we are in a tech recession, and let's hold off on IT and computer science because it looks like I think we're actually in a real recession. Britain just entered a recession. I think we're about to as well. But yeah, I would maybe hold off on computer science or some IT related. But yeah, take this opportunity. In your individual case, if you want, what else have you got to do? And then you could be like me, although I want to get you probably very favored. But I remember, I wrote my books. I even programmed Asshole Consulting website on a security shift. You could even start running a side hustle if you wanted to. Like you could do some accounting work at security. Like you get your own little accounting firm going. All of a sudden you're making $250,000 a year. What do I do with the money? Yeah, you can do. I would say here. What's it gonna hurt if you take 2 courses, right? Or take 1 course. Just take 1 course. Have them pay for it. Say, let me see. Take 1 course in accounting, see what happens. You don't have it linked below. For those of you who are interested in accounting, there's a course me and Chad put together called The World's Greatest Accounting Career. I'll link to that below, but you can just search that World's Greatest Accounting Career. It's on Teachable. And that's it. We have any super chats? We have 4 super chats. Ken Rose says hi for $5. Hello, Ken. Wisconsin Nomad, $5. I'm back, baby. Love the video on how to tell your girl you're not going to marry her. Keep it up, Cappy. Good. Thanks, Wes. Where were you? We're traveling around. 45 degrees in Wisconsin. Skipping work to walk and listen to you run. Wait a minute. That's not right. You're not supposed to have nice weather up there in January. Weather. It's what's the Middletown? Portage. Holy cow, why is it so warm? Oh, look, it's going to drop to the zeros. Yeah, it is nice up there. You better take advantage of that. What the hell is the weather in Rapid City? I have some pictures I save of me where it's sunny. And I wait for the weather to get really bad in Rapid City in Wisconsin. And I send all my family and friends pictures of me having a warm, even though it may be a cloudy day here. Rapid City, South Dakota weather. What's the weather out there? 28. Oh, that's not. Oh, yeah. Yeah, it looks like there's a cold front coming. Okay, Sunday is the day. Ooh, -7. Monday. Maybe Monday is the day Monday's the day I'll send them pictures because it's 0 for a high and -7 for a low. I'm gonna set my alarm, send them pictures. RJ, 10 generous dollars. Why Capital One has experienced technical issues affecting direct deposits and other transactions. I hate it so much at Capital One now. Negatively impacted millions of people's lives at Capital One. What happened to Capital One? Capital One news. Capital One technically delays payments for users. Why don't get paid by Capital One? Capital One technically. Do they have a payment processing or something? Down detector. According to the company, most issues were expected to be this Friday morning. Statement email Thursday night. Payment disruptions, technical issue. Processing of some transactions occurring direct deposits and early pay credit for direct deposits. Okay, so they must have a payment processing. I just thought they were a credit card. Yeah, it sucks. Someone screwed up, RJ. I guarantee you that someone screwed up. I understand payment processing things are very complicated computer network systems. I get it, but somebody screwed up. Wisco Nomad, $2. I was corporate slaving. Well, hopefully not anymore. Not today. Not today. You're not. Oh, by the way, unrelated or kind of related. I've finished chapter 6 of the book, and there's like 9, maybe 10 chapters with a short conclusionary chapter. But you're gonna like this one, Wisco, where I talk about how one day I had all this time and nothing to do, and I just walked around suburbia with all their little bike paths and walking paths, and found a liquor store, and then found a bar, and I slowly got drunk along the way, and like I was slamming shots in a biffy because you can't get busted for public consumption. And it was just a story about how I got all this time. What am I going to do? And it came out pretty well written. I was like, oh, this sounds almost as good as I remember it. So that's coming up. If you're wondering what the title is, Zero World Problems. So instead of First World Problems, it's going to be titled Zero World Problems, indicating that we are going to go beyond materialist problems. And there are a whole new set of standards of living. My people, my team should be looking at. Not you normie conformies inferiors, not you Beckys and your Karens with your financed SUV. You people are fucking normies. You stay the fucking normie land with your fucking debts and your mortgages and cheating on your husband and whatever the fuck else, okay? All of you assholes stay in fucking normie land. You stay in Eden fucking Prairie. You stay in fucking Winnetka and you fucking suffer. My team, my guys, we're moving on. We're going to zero world problems. D. Toms, $5. Hello, Cappy. I work security and spend all my downtime learning via podcast. Good for you. I started a small side hustle and seeing results already. There you go, man. Exactly. That's how it. Look, I will say it. A lot of things had to happen, and it was a lot of work and a lot of sacrifice. But I would not be where I am today without security. There was just no way to do college really any other way except go to the military and get the GI Bill, which probably in hindsight would have been a better idea. All right. But yeah, man, if you get those right shifts, you could just sit and and nobody wants to work the night shift. Nobody. And that's the best time to work because no one fucking bothers you. Yep, you're sleep deprived. Yep, it fucks up your circadian rhythm. But if you could just do 3 years of that shit and you don't waste the time, like you get in there and you do your obligations, be a good security guard, but then you take 6 hours a night, an 8-hour shift. You got 6 hours a night to do. You can't achieve amazing shit with online internet access with 6 hours of time a night. That's 30 hours a week. Work a full-time job. Well, it's good to see. All right. That's it. Questions, answers, asshole consulting. If you're interested, for all you look at that, the world's greatest accounting career. We'll see you guys later. Toodles.